Welcome back to Gear Acquisition Syndrome. Today I'm exploring the Litepanels Gemini 1x1, a soft RGBWW LED panel meant for video production. So I've used the Gemini in my production workflow for a couple weeks now, and that means I've used it to light reviews that I've filmed of other lights that I was reviewing. That's the thing about reviewing production equipment. If I'm reviewing a light, I have to light that review somehow while still showing the light on screen so I can then talk about it. The design of the Litepanels Gemini 1x1 is absolutely striking, like if Apple got into designing studio lights. Apparently the new philosophy in the lighting industry is to use lightweight, durable components instead of like solid steel. And Litepanels have executed on that growing trend. The rear of the unit is made out of cast aluminum. The corner protective pieces are plastic, but the casting actually extends under these corner pieces and bolts directly to the cast aluminum heat sinks. The unit only weighs 11 pounds with the power ballast, and it seems just as durable as all the other lights of the same form factor that I've reviewed on my channel. The yoke is made out of aluminum, and the power ballast or battery plate mounts directly under the light, so the center of gravity doesn't move anywhere, which makes it easier to manage on cheap light stands. And the unit as a whole doesn't feel flimsy in any way. The light can also easily rotate completely around without running into the yoke. The fan blows air through the control section and into these little grooves that act as a heatsink for the LED section. The Gemini 1x1 is designed in such a way that it can be set upside down on a table or whichever way the yoke isn't pointing, and it can be set face up on a hard floor without impacting the ability of the fan to dissipate heat. If you don't like fan noise, it can be completely disabled, which dims the maximum output of the light by 50%, my favorite fan feature on lights like this. Or it can be set to auto, which will turn the fan on after it heats up beyond 75 degrees, or you can turn the fan on to maximum blowing all the time. There's also a setting called delay, which will allow the user to run the light at 100% power with the fan off. The fan will stay off until the heat of the unit requires the fan to run, then the fan will start up. At normal room temperature, this will give you about 20 to 25 minutes of filming. The fan can then be turned on to max to cool down the unit prior to the next take. In auto though, the fan is just virtually silent anyways, so I just usually leave it in auto mode. Getting started with the Litepanels Gemini is pretty simple. It's fully assembled out of the box, just plug it in and turn it on. The front diffusion panel can be removed and replaced with different levels of diffusion that could be purchased separately from Litepanels, similar to what RE offers. The V-mount battery plate is also a separate accessory, and to gain access to the functionality for wireless DMX or Bluetooth, those both require separate purchasable modules. So if you want to use your phone to control the light over Bluetooth, you have to make sure you pick up the Bluetooth module. The light has both 5-pin DMX and Ethernet DMX. It also has a USB port to perform firmware updates with a flash drive. You can also use the USB port to save settings and presets and then load those settings and presets onto other lights. There are 3 knobs that also act as buttons, and there's a cancel button. There's also 6 preset buttons that are insanely useful and probably one of my favorite things about this light. If you're scouting a location to film with this light, you can dial in color temperatures, colors, or special effects and save those to the one of the 6 presets. And then if you need to, you can export those settings and presets to all of your other lights. Then when you get to the location later to actually film, you can just hit the preset button to load the color, effects, or other settings you've predetermined. The preset button saves all the light settings, even the fan setting. So for example, I have presets 1 and 2 set exactly the same. The only difference is the fan is on maximum mode on setting 1 and then auto on setting 2. Presets persist through powering the light off and on. And there are also 6 default presets for common color temperatures from tungsten to daylight. So if you're debating between RE Sky Panel or the Litepanels Gemini right now, the preset buttons alone tilt the scales for me personally toward Litepanels. That's not even considering the color quality, but we'll get there soon. The Litepanels Gemini has a set of insanely customizable special effects. I've been using some of them throughout the filming of this video. It has standard ones like police, fireplace, lightning, and they're all super customizable from color temperature to speed and depth of flicker. Right now I'm using the pulsing effect with a teal green and kind of a slow pulse. I can make it go very fast if I want to. They also have fireworks, a multi-hue burst, which is like the pulsing but different, and they have manual triggering options, so you can click a button to trigger the special effect in manual mode. For example, now if I want to go 3, 2, 1, burst. That's really useful if you want to use practical lighting special effects. And if you have the Bluetooth module, triggering special effects from a light mounted on the ceiling powered with a V-mount battery with your phone would be a really awesome filmmaking tool. The light also has the regular color modes you would expect from an RGBWW LED panel today, like HSI, RGB, gels, and with a selectable linear or log curve to all of the knobs. In CCT, or coordinated color temperature, you can select color temperatures from between 2700 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin with plus or minus green. In HSI, you can select hue, saturation, and intensity. And in gels mode, you can easily scroll through tons of Lee or Roscoe filters while toggling between a tungsten or daylight source. But in all of those modes, you can dial the intensity in with increments of 0.1%, which is super precise and very useful for lights getting as powerful as they are today. In RGBW mode, you can select a Kelvin temperature for the whites that will automatically alternate between both sets of white LEDs between 2700K and 6000K, and then individually dial in the intensity of the red, green, blue, and set of white LEDs. Alright, time to measure some color quality with the UPRTech CV600. I set the light to 2700 Kelvin and measured the intensity from 1 meter away at 0.1% power to 100% power. I found the intensity reading is extremely accurate. And at every power level, the maximum color variation was only 100 Kelvin. The TLCI maintained roughly 94 throughout the power levels, and the spectral readings remained roughly the same. Moving up to 4000 Kelvin, we can see a vast improvement in color quality, topping out the TLCI around 98. And at 5600 Kelvin, it should be no surprise that we maintain that excellent color quality. However, the color temperature does stray by about 150 points. And for full color output, the red had 454 lux, green had 1169 lux, and blue had 231 lux at 100% output. It also passed the flicker test at 0.1% output, so you can use it for any of your slow motion needs. And for some context, here's the side-by-side of a budget 1x1 panel with the Gemini 1x1 at 100% power at 5600 Kelvin. You can see that nasty green spike in the budget panel, and the Gemini does not have that. The light comes in at around $2,500 without any accessories. Not that you need any to get started. I don't have any accessories, and it's been super useful to my production over the last few weeks, and it has become one of my favorite tools to use in the studio. If you want to grab your own, you can grab one from the links in the description of this video, and that will help support my channel. I wasn't paid to make this review, and everything here was my own opinion. However, the Gemini was provided by Litepanels at the Vitek group for me to review. A huge thank you goes out to them for sending me that to check out. This video wouldn't have been possible otherwise. I look forward to what they come out with next. Thanks for watching, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.